So it started off as retail FOMO into the crypto markets. That was most notably seen in the 2017 crypto cycle. And then we started to transition into institutional FOMO. And now we might actually be on the cusp of witnessing nation state FOMO going into the cryptocurrency market, which is absolutely massive in terms of game theory. It's very similar to the space race, which we saw way back between, of course, the US, Russia, and now we have all these other global elites coming into the game and pushing crypto prices towards the upside. So massive moves. We have a whole lot to discuss today. I'll show you exactly why I'm making the statement. And you can see over here on the banter bubbles, everything looking really healthy. Daily up, weekly up. We have the monthly up over there and the yearly up. So pretty much all time frames that matter are now towards the upside with huge moves in the top 100 coins. And we're witnessing what could be very, I want to say this, at least the start of altcoin season, but I want to say that with extreme caution, right? Because we've seen the story before, right? So have a look at that. We're seeing the potential breakdown of the Bitcoin dominance with a bearish engulfing candle. So stay tuned to the very end. We're going to take your altcoin requests as well. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If you look at this over here, Chinese media outlets are reporting on Donald Trump's plans to make the US the world's crypto capital and establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So I would play the sound for you, but it's all in Chinese. You're not going to understand any of it anyway. Take my word for it, as the title suggests, or at least as the description here suggests from 𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗓. This is essentially what's playing out because that was part of his plans. And if you look at Dennis Porter, he says, breaking, I can confirm that additional state lawmakers have reached out to me today to request assistance passing keyword a strategic Bitcoin reserve after winning the elections. This is like adding gold into their strategic reserves and building gold reserves. They're looking to do the same thing with Bitcoin. And he said, tag your state lawmaker below if you want. And then if you look below, you can see another state lawmaker just joined the movement. So very interesting times. This sets the precedent, right? It means that a lot of the other countries are going to start to follow suit. We already saw El Salvador being one of the first countries to adopt Bitcoin as a standard, at least within their country. And you may see other nation states doing exactly the same thing that could lead to substantial moves, right? So again, retail came first, then we had institutions, and then nation state FOMO, right? If you look at this tweet from Miles, Bitcoin spot ETF total cumulative flow, pretty much a record now at $2 billion flowing into the BTC ETF. And it is looking really strong. If you look at BlackRock's ETF in terms of Bitcoin versus gold, the ETF for Bitcoin is now officially bigger than gold ETF. This is absolutely huge. This has been the most successful ETF ever launched when it comes to markets, period, right? So huge moves over here. And the craziest thing is retail are not even here yet. I'm going to show you why in a moment, right? So if you have a look at this, the key thing that we need to pay attention to over here is this is one of the biggest inflow days that we've seen. You can see 1.36 billion that recently just came in. And the unfortunate truth of the matter is that whenever we see these massive inflows previously, this has actually created major local tops within the market. So I do think it's time to be on high alert. But if this is a real breakout, well, then you would expect trend continuation. And if you're leaving an 8-month trading range, which we currently are, so long as you can hold Bitcoin price up above that $69,000 region, that 69 to 70K region, which is your range high breakout level, any backtest into that zone becomes a support level which you want to be buying, and you're looking for higher prices. But Bitcoin really putting in quite the move at $76,447. It is looking good. So what we can do is we can also have a look at the aggregate funding rate average to try and determine, are things really overheated right now, or is this still part of normality? Well, if you look at this over here, it looks really like it's part of normality. We've tracked this to a T where every single time we looked at the major outliers, you can see over here, this was during COVID, right? When you have negative funding, and then that creates a buy the dip opportunity, right? Prices move up. Over here, you had negative funding, prices move up, negative funding, huge bounce, prices move up, negative funding, you get a bit of a bounce that's leading into the bear market. FTX, negative funding over there, that creates the cycle low. We had the USDC DPEG, massive negative funding over there, huge move that came off of that. And then we started to see signs and symptoms on the yen cash and carry trade unwind that was taking place over there. We started to put in the negative funding, and now we've started the next next major move, right? So funding still theoretically coming down, which suggests that, maybe things aren't overheated. Maybe there is enough gas in the tank to make this a real breakout move. We can go a step further and we can have a look at the open interest over here in terms of Bitcoin. This is ever since the cycle low. Of course, we had high funding rates over there because a lot of people were net short into that environment. And then the funding just started to pretty much unwind. And only now is it starting to pick up once again. And that's off of price moving up, right? So I think there is backing in terms of that the move is legit. If we look at under the hood, the move is legit over here. So far, there's no evidence to suggest that there should be a fake out, and this should be a huge, huge move. You can see if you look at the altcoin sector as well, this is often the best indicator to determine frothiness within the market. When you look for frothiness, you want to see the funding rate heat map across all the altcoin sectors, putting in that, yellows and oranges over here. Simply put, what that means is people are paying a high percentage to hold open leverage long trades, right? Typically, that's the environment that you see this orange color that starts to print, like we saw at the local top that occurred in March. So with that being said, let's go back over here. Despite what we saw over here with the massive ETF inflows, which did create that local top, when we go back to this chart over here, where is it over here? Let's go back to this chart over here. You can see the local top at that point in time with the massive ETF inflows in March corresponded with very, very positive funding rates over here, which suggested that, yes, it is getting a little bit overheated. Right now, we're not seeing that, right? So although the ETF inflows are very similar to what we saw at that local top at $74,000, the funding rate heat map suggests otherwise. Most of the funding over here is neutral to very, very slightly positive. It's not out of control yet. And if we look over here as well, and we can look at the search terms on Google Trends to try and identify the retail interest and whether it's here or not. This is the interest over time. I took it from 2017 because that's when the retail FOMO came in. And then we started to move into the phase, of course, of institutions and now nation states. And you can see very recently, we just got a small uptick over there from what was previously 19 to now 33 in terms of search terms looking for Bitcoin. Crypto is still very, very flat. So if you compare Bitcoin to crypto, crypto is still very flat. And you can see nowhere near what we saw in 2021 or 2017, which shows you retail is not here. We can take it a step further. And in my opinion, the best retail indicator out there is looking at YouTube views. It's still the predominant source of media for crypto people, new crypto people that are coming into the market, and they're here to learn, right? We can see the YouTube views are pretty short. They're still relatively low. If you want to help me to get more YouTube views, smash the like button, right? That tickles the algorithm and gets things going. So please smash the like button. But anyways, if you have a look at the YouTube views again, we're isolating and comparing to in a similar fashion where we saw those funding rates peak over here in March, where we saw the massive ETF inflows coming in March as well. And then we can go to the same time period and we can see over there the YouTube views were spiking. Where are the YouTube views now? Despite price being higher than what it was in March on Bitcoin, the YouTube views remain relatively low, right? Pretty much at the same place that they have been throughout this trading range. So supporting the fact that there's just absolutely no retail here. Prices at all-time highs, breaking out, about to enter into a trending move, and retail are not here. When will they come back? Maybe when Bitcoin pushes into the $80,000 to $90,000 region, they'll start to return. They're most likely going to be moving into the altcoin sector. I think, despite the saying that they utilize with smart money versus dumb money, meaning that the late retail are dumb money, they're not that dumb that they're going to be looking to move into Bitcoin because they probably understand, it looks too expensive to buy one. That's their mentality. They think, well, I can't afford one, so what do I buy? They're going to move into the altcoin sector. Most specifically, at least my speculation, is the meme coin sector. That's where they're going to be looking for the biggest move. So we'll focus on some of those coins today. Stay tuned until the very end. We're still waiting for a marked uptick over here. When we get that marked uptick and we start to see the YouTube views breaking out, that's really going to be the sign to start to be cautious, right? If that's marked with also huge ETF inflows, which are typically a contrarian indicator suggesting local tops, while we have the funding rates increasing massively over there, and then more specifically, the funding rate heat map heating up over here and getting bright with those yellows and oranges, that's where we're going to be super, super careful, right? And we're going to have to start to look for the opposite move. But right now, there is the possibility for a trend in motion on Bitcoin. I'll give you a couple of other metrics to show you why. First and foremost, we're getting the 7-day moving average on the daily exchange volume officially pushing into that all-important $50 billion region. We said we want to see it hold here. Very, very, very important. We want to see it hold between 50 and 75 billion. If it can form a new base of support and trade into that new trading range, that's going to be incredibly powerful to set things up for continuation. And then you can start to move into that 75 billion plus region, which is where you're going to get the absolute face melting moves. You can see over here, that's what we saw, of course, which took us towards those highs where Bitcoin moved in March to 74,000. We're not even in terms of volume back at that level. This shows you that, this is really being backed as an institutional bid. This is part of the reason why price continues to move up. So zooming out over here, let's look on all times over here. This is what you want to see, right? There's your little blip in 2017 cycle leading into the peaks where Bitcoin went about $20,000. Here's 2021 where Bitcoin went about $69,000. In terms of daily exchange volume, we're nowhere near that, right? So how high could price go? Well, probably a lot higher, probably a lot higher. And the crazy thing is you still have the majority of the market running net short, right? You can see on the 24-hour long to short ratio, 50.23% of people are trying to short this breakout over here. 49.77% are running longs. You would expect in a breakout type of move, you should see the opposite. You should see more longs than shorts. This creates the opportunity for a possible short squeeze within the market that could still get prices higher, maybe into the $80,000 region. So we'll watch for those liquidations over there. Here it is. Look at the heat map over here. This showcases where a lot of the traders' stop losses are. Now, typically, the brighter the area above or below, the more liquidity in that environment. Right now, if you look back on the 3-day time period, there is more bright liquidity situated overhead, which supports the possibility based on more people looking for shorts and longs right now that you could see a short squeeze. So right now, the only contrarian indicator that we have that's suggesting that maybe things are overheated is really this ETF inflows, right, which is marked with the major local tops. Other than that, everything looks good for continuation. So this is what trading is about. You need to weigh up the pros and cons. You need to look at the bearish factors, the bullish factors, and then try and make an educated determination for where you think price is going to go next. Based on what I'm looking at over here, I think that it's indicative that price is probably going to continue higher, especially in the medium to high time frame. In the short term, of course, there is always possibilities that you might get quick flushes towards the downside. And if anything, it should actually be expected, right, to shake people out before you do get the real move. So that's what we're looking at over there. Here's Bitcoin. Here is your monthly candle. And the unbelievable thing, as I said, a lot of people would be very, very surprised to see Bitcoin trade the monthly, the November monthly gains, which are on average, in that region of 40%. That would take Bitcoin just shy of $100,000. But I said, realistically, I think it's very possible that this monthly candle closes anywhere around this $89,000 region, which is going to be your first fib extension, which is the 1.618. If you take from the high to the low over there, that could be your first target where you're looking for a bit of resistance to be found. So it's looking really, really good. I think if you push into that zone, as I said, $80,000 to $90,000 is probably where you see some of those retail market participants come back, and that should see an uptick in the YouTube views over here. So we'll keep a close, keen eye out on that as price action unfolds. Right now, very, 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 very bullish chart. I mean, I couldn't have said it enough, guys. You know it. You've been here for a long time. You should all be positioned on the right side of this trade. Everything is looking fantastic. Stochastic RSI holding into the bullish control zone. Multiple candle closes in this area leads to those big moves towards the upside. We're breaking out. We're in new all-time high territory. This creates no resistance overhead and free space, right? Price discovery. Think of it like that, right? A rocket trying to leave the atmosphere to get into space. Once it gets into or outside of the atmosphere, there's no resistance. It's up only. It's easy from that point in time. And that's currently the environment that you're facing for Bitcoin. So time to be locked in, time to have your wits about you and stay hyper focused as we wait for the rest of the things to unfold. If you look over here, I outlined this many, many weeks ago. I said, expect this is going to be an order block in the pink zone that's going to have a price consolidation, which is probably going to lead into a massive breakout. Feel free to go to back onto any one of my previous videos during this time period over here in mid-October as price was coming down up until current levels. We said, create the order block, which is going to lead into a massive breakout. None of this has been put in now recently. We did this weeks ago, and that's exactly what we're seeing, right? We said the good news would be if you could see the total cryptocurrency market cap break above these highs in a similar fashion to what Bitcoin has done. That starts to create the sign of strength phase as per your Wyckoff reaccumulation schematic. There's your Wyckoff reaccumulation, break up, hold and consolidate above the $2.6 trillion mark, between 2.6 and about $3 trillion. That creates a new order block, which is your sign of strength phase, SOS, right? And that leads to trend continuation. And we're looking at the total cryptocurrency market cap to possibly move up as high as $8 trillion, right? Within the cycle, at least $8 trillion, which from current price action, that's giving you, what is that? That's going to be about, maybe a 3x from here, give or take. Of course, other altcoins, we're going to get much, much, much bigger moves because a lot of that money is going to flow out of Bitcoin, which is already a massive market cap, and that's going to flow into the altcoin sector. And then we expect the typical flow, right, which I'll show you in a moment, the typical flow to altcoin season, Bitcoin, then large caps, mid caps, low caps, and then, the micro caps fly at the end, right? So we looked at this yesterday. This is a super guppy indicator. It's just been very easy, textbook perfect, right? Personally, I haven't had any confusion when it comes to this market. It's always Bitcoin first, totals moving second. Then we have total 3, which is the majority of the altcoins, and then others, right, which is more the medium to low cap altcoins, which then follow. You can see in terms of the super guppy, well, we've already had a long green period on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. We've had a shorter time period for the total cryptocurrency market cap because it tends to turn later than Bitcoin, and then an even shorter time period for total 3, and then an even shorter time period which actually turned back gray again on others, right? So others is really lagging behind, and people tend to move towards the laggards at a certain point within the market cycle because they realize that most of the gains have been had in Bitcoin. So this is usually where, as a trader, you'll start to rotate, right? You'll start to rotate out of the things that have led the entire cycle. You want to still hold those for now, but when they start to stall out, you want to move out of those leaders into certain things that are lagging that you think the market participants are going to move into next. And that's where your final gains come into play, right? So Bitcoin leading the move. We saw this for a long time. We said coming off of extremely low volatility, breaking out of the crystal clear cup and handle formation into this broadening wedge, which forms your handle of the cup and handle. And now you're starting to break out. It's all supported by low volatility, which started to increase into high volatility. And I mean, you let me know in the comments, guys, was there any way that we could have called this any more perfect? I think we've absolutely nailed every single move. And then I told you what likely happens next is the cup and handle formation on ETH, which has been lagging Bitcoin, breaks out next. And now we're seeing that, right? We said coming off of very, very low volatility over here, volatility indicator now starting to expand. We have the BBWP breaking above the 10 percentile mark. That's your first sign that something is starting to trigger over here. Now, the moving average, which is the white line, is still coming down pretty hard over here. So it will take a bit of time for this to turn. So, pullbacks on ETH probably start to become an opportunity. And then we can see and evaluate if ETH BTC is going to start to turn towards the upside as well. Currently, it's looking like that is the case. So everything is playing according to perfection. So now is the time where we need to start to look to establish those low leverage swing trade positions, which we're going to hold open for probably the next 30 to 90 days, at which point we expect the funding rate heat map to transition from neutral to slightly positive into extremely positive funding rates, at which point things become overheated, and then we'll start to take profits. So with that being said, please do get your trading accounts ready. Remember, we spoke about using Weex as one of the exchanges that we're going to build these swing trade positions on. There is a link in the description below if you want to join us. I have a couple of trades that are open over here, very, very small positions. We're only just starting to scale in. If you do sign up to Weex with the link below, you can actually get access to 10,000 USDT. That is one of the sign-up bonuses that they have. So the link is below. There it is. Go to Weex. Win your share of 10,000 USDT. They have pretty low trading fees over there. And then you get your sign-up bonus as well. And then you can participate with us where we're going to take some of these trades. So take advantage there. We'll start trying to drop those trades, of course, in the Whale Room Discord, right? We're going to drop those in the Whale Room Discord. I'm constantly updating everybody in Whale Room. Okay, we just got the deltas in as well. On the low time frames are positive, right? On the low time frames are positive over there. WIF is still negative. So this is where we're dropping all the information. You can see we have an absolutely incredible group of people over here. I share my entire portfolio. I'm not going to dox all of it, but if you want everything over there with your Whale Room members, there is a Black Friday special which is currently running, right? So go through to the Black Friday special over there. You guys also asked, we only had a 1-year option, and then we had 25% off the 1-month option. If you do go through to when you click the link in the description below, it will take you to the WAP page. We were asked if we could offer a 3-month option, right? There is a 3-month option. It's just not add on to this Black Friday page. But if you go through to the WAP page, you'll see it. There is a 3-month option for those of you that want to get in. Okay. So let's have a look at this. This has kind of been our roadmap where we've been following this for months and months now. Now, I'll show you what you have to look forward to next. Again, we must always have validation and invalidation levels. This battle line remains a very, very key level over here. So keep an eye out on that. You know, still that's where you don't want to see if there is some massive flush like we saw with the ETFs previously marking a local top. Right now, this is a low probability play that there is going to be a local top over here based on all the various other factors that we've looked at. But let's just say and play devil's advocate and say hypothetically it plays out again, right? The ETF inflows being at new highs marks some sort of a local top and we do come down. Well, the highest expectation would be that you're going to probably do something like this, fill some of that inefficiency into the fair value gap, and then you're probably going to see prices go higher. But as I just suggested, we must always have invalidation zones. Right now, the invalidation zone for me would be if you break below what I labeled the battle line and you start to close underneath that below $60,000, that is going to create a lot of trouble within the market. I think it's very, very much wishful thinking, massive wishful thinking. I think you will be even lucky if you get something like that. For all you know, price just consolidates like this and just pushes up, right? Maybe you don't even backtest properly into that fair value gap. But anyway, I said this is our roadmap. This is what we have to look forward to next. We said for months and months and months and months that this is what we're looking for, a big move up just like this into this exact time zone. We planned it out to perfection. Hardest is my witness there in the back end because he drives all the shows. So you would know Hardest. You watch every single show. So this is what we're looking forward to, right? We're looking forward to straight continuation. There will be dips along the way, but we're looking forward to straight continuation. Who knows how high it goes? I'm giving you the next major timing factor that we're looking at. The next major timing zone is going to be this one, right? That marks 850 days since the cycle low. And that's typically where price action tends to stall out. When you look at all the other cycles, that's usually where things start to fizzle out a little bit and some major profit taking comes into play. Now, it's a question of, what happens after that? Is that the end of the cycle? Of course, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. My base case for the end of the cycle is going to be over here, 3rd of October, 2025, which means maybe it looks something like this, right? Maybe you get those shallow dips, you get your opportunity to fill your bag, price runs up, we find the local top, like we always do at that point in the cycle, and then we lead through a couple of month corrective phase, sell in May and go away, right? We move into May, sell in May and go away. And then we start to pick up again, creating a secondary top in October 2025. That could be the case, right? That could be the picture. That might be what you're looking at. The good news is that we don't need to worry about that right now. Right now, bags are packed and we're looking for this type of a move, right? Into March 2025. We'll obviously evaluate price action as everything unfolds, but it's looking great. My portfolio is at all-time highs, and if you've been following me for, since the beginning, your portfolio should also be at all-time highs. So massive congratulations to every single one of you. I already put out a congratulatory message specifically for the Whale Room members, right, who've absolutely been annihilating it. So absolutely well done to all of you in Whale Room over there. So this is what we're looking at, zooming in over here. When we look at the key levels, the key quarterly level is going to be very, very significant. You definitely do not want to see any price action close back below that level, that key quarterly level. This is really the low boundary of the fair value gap as well. That level coming in, again, at that high $69,000, low $70,000 region. that's the area to hold the support. Now, we've marked out the fair value gap yesterday. I gave you guys all the price levels. There it is. It's in this orange zone that's between $70,453 and $74,000, with the most probable level for support to be found at these previous tops, right? That's coming into the yellow line over here, and that's at 72,700. As you can see, price is grinding onwards and upwards, right? So there's no guarantee that you actually get the move into there, but of course, that's what you're going to be hoping for. That's what you're going to be looking for, is one more dip into that zone. If you see that and you still have capital available, that's kind of the area where you do want to deploy, right? If you have no capital available right now, you probably want to aggressively dollar cost average into the market. That will reduce your entry, right? So meaning you're buying bit by bit, right? So you buy every couple of hours, that any price action that does that, then you're getting your average entry just before the major breakout, which looks set to be taking place. Remember, this is evidence-based approach, right? We're not just guessing. The breakout looks set to take place because the volatility expansion is happening over here with the BBWP. This is one of our objective measures that we can utilize to determine where price action is going and how long it's going to expand for. Another thing that you can utilize over here is the 9 and 18 exponential moving average, which typically, if price pulls back into that, that's going to be one of your support zones. It also happens to line up with the previous tops, which I gave you at that 72,700 region. So if you do happen to see a little bit of a market flush, maybe due to low time frame over leverage traders building positions, you're looking for something like that, right? That's your buy the dip zone. That's where you're looking for price to move, right? I don't think I can make it any more clear. There's always some troll that will come on the show, like in a couple of weeks' time, and say, like, bro, you said the prices were going to crash. You said that price was going to hit this level. I mean, I'm giving you a approximate level, right? I mean, how much closer do you want it? Between that $71,000 and $73,000 region, look for price. If it comes back in there, you buy the dip. Again, there's no guarantee, right? Things may just absolutely rip from this point onwards. There's unanimous agreement between that daily time frame fair value gap that I've just given you with those previous tops and the 4-hour time frame. If we look at the at least agreement levels between the 4-hour and the daily, well, the fair value gap comes into the same zone over here. Also, if you do get that flush down, it will take you into the 0.382 to the 0.5 level. I took my range level using the Fibonacci tool from the bottom to the recent top. I have to adjust this as price moves up, right? So if price moves up over there, then the anchor is still from the bottom to the top, and then we have to readjust those levels. But typically, the 0.382 to the 0.5 level is the area of interest, and that has support from your 4-hour 50 EMA, which is also moving up, right? So these are your areas of interest. You see something like that, you try and buy the dip over there, and then you're looking for higher prices. Right now, there's not really many reasons to be bearish again, other than what we've seen on the massive spike of ETF inflows. Every other bit of evidence suggests higher prices, right? So it's all looking good. You have the breakdown. We're looking at this for a long time. I don't think we have to put the little watch face there anymore. Let's take it out because it's played out. We have the breakdown of the USDT dominance. That means money is flowing into the cryptocurrency market, which is why we're seeing the total cryptocurrency market also move towards the upside. Your area of interest where this might find a bit of support, which when this finds support, it's generally pullback regions for the rest of the Bitcoin market. That's another 11% down, right? 11% down. So I'll update you on this every single day as we approach the zone. This is on a weekly time frame. So, it's got time. It's got time. If we look at this on the daily, that's what it looks like on the daily, starting to form a downtrend. You've broken trend. We want to see this downtrend continue. The further this moves down, the better for us, because the higher that prices will move up within the rest of the crypto sphere. So this is what we're looking at, right? We're looking for the breakdown of USDT. We're looking at the Bitcoin dominance, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And then you expect this to be the path to the true altcoin season. Now, we said that give or take, altcoin season could happen anywhere between now and January. So you probably want to establish your altcoin positions between now and January. I don't think it's too late. Some of you may be coming here today thinking, am I too late? Am I too late? Absolutely not. You're not too late when it comes to the altcoin sector. You have limited upside potential probably on Bitcoin. Ethereum, I reckon you still have at least a 3x return, maybe even a 5x return. Solana, same thing, anywhere between a 3 and possibly an extreme case, maybe like an 8x return. Other altcoins, you're still sitting there with the possibility of anywhere from 10 to 50x return, depending how risky you want to go. The further down this list you go, the more risky you go. So usually it's Bitcoin that moves first. Prior cycles would then be Ethereum. In this cycle, we've seen other layer ones that have come out, and they've done a lot more than Ethereum. They've garnered a lot more attention, a lot more users. Users are always a very important thing. So you can say Ethereum / Solana, right? We've seen that Solana outperforming Bitcoin, and then you move into the large caps, all the other altcoins start to outperform, and then you move into full-on alt season where your low cap and mid caps start to outperform. So familiarize yourself with this chart. Don't become religious about it, because understand that forget these terminologies. In terms of Ethereum, it could just mean other layer ones, right? Solana outperforms, and then we move into the large caps, and this is your transition. Now, what we're seeing on Bitcoin dominance, which I said is very, very interesting, because this is what I dropped in Whale Room this morning. You can see this is a couple of weeks back, or a couple of days ago. I said Bitcoin dominance check, and I posted that this is now zooming in on a lower time frame. I said, imagine this is it. It would likely be a fairy tale for crypto if on the election day we actually see a top. And so far, that's exactly what's playing out on the Bitcoin dominance. Now, I have said explicitly, don't count your chickens before they hatch, because we've seen other times with pullbacks. We need to really see new swing lows created on the Bitcoin dominance breakdown with lower highs, and only on that next lower high can we actually confirm that it's breaking down. So in other words, it would look something like this, right? In terms of a trajectory, you're looking for something like that, push up, test this as underside resistance. You have your top, you have your lower high. At that point, you go full on into altcoins, and then you're looking for the full on drop over there. And that's where we're going to make the life-changing return. So it's very important that you put the bell notification on, that you follow every single day. Make sure that you follow me as well on Twitter or X. All the links are in the description below. And then if you want the best experience, join into Whale Room, right? Because that's where I update everybody first. So bearish engulfing candle. Currently, we need to wait 1 day, 17 hours left for this to close. But if this candle closes anywhere lower than last week's candle, you do have a bearish engulfing candle. Bearish engulfing candles are all the more powerful when they occur at a local top. We outlined the area of resistance coming in over here based on the order block that led to the initial breakdown of Bitcoin dominance. You're basically backtesting into the range high at the apex of a falling wedge or a rising wedge formation, which is typically bearish. It would be looking really good if you do get a full-on bearish engulfing candle and you have two more candles that continue towards the downside. So 3 weekly candles that close red is going to be a major telltale sign, right? Then you're going to be looking for a huge breakdown in Bitcoin dominance, and you're probably going to get the exact inverse happening on the ETH BTC chart. And this is looking really good, right? In terms of levels that we targeted, right? The 1.618, we hit that level. We marginally closed slightly below that. We've got an impulsive move. If you start to close above the prior 0.040, that was the initial breakdown level. That's your break of structure, right? This is where things start to shift. So you're looking for your break of structure over here. There we go. We want to see ETH BTC break above that level. Then there will be pullbacks along the way. So you'll always have an opportunity based on that next pullback. So it looks something like this, right? Break of structure, pullback, create the high low, probably chop about over here. And then better days ahead, right? For the altcoin sector. The reason we study ETH BTC is because it's the largest altcoin that's out there. Second to Bitcoin. Of course, it's second in terms of a crypto to Bitcoin. And if ETH BTC moves up, that's generally a healthy sign for the altcoin sector. So we must keep eyes on this. Here's your ETH USD chart as well, pushing towards the upside, about to break that trend. So a lot of action happening, right? A lot of changes in the market, a lot of action that's happening right now. We've received so many requests, for educational write-ups, additional videos, things like that. Guys, all of this we do offer in Whale Room, right? So you have all your blog posts relevant to current market conditions and all very educational. We update them there. And then you have the Whale Discord educational videos with various different trading strategies. And you let us know what you want more of. We record it and we put it in here into the archive for you, where you can get all that information, right? So our traders are doing very well. This is one of our coaches, Chris. Massive trade over here on Grok, 672%, closing that out this morning. Well done, bro. Good trade. Again, guys, Everything is listed in the description below if you go through to Whale Room over there. Let's get into some of the altcoin requests, right? So let me know what it is that you want to have a look at. There's your ETH chart, ETHUSD, pushing towards the upside. It's looking really, really solid over there. We can go through a couple. Maybe we should just scroll through some of the L1s. TRX getting a little bit of a pullback over there. Not too interested in that one. TON, though, starting to break trend, right? Here's your very, very first sign. TON starting to break trend. There it is. Let's make it as conservative as we possibly can. You know, that's probably the most conservative I could go. So you're looking at TON maybe in the next day or two to start to break this downtrend. Remember, following a break of downtrend, you then look to buy the next high low. But sometimes you have to be aware that it just rips, right? Like this. You broke the trend over here. You created the breakup structure on the orange line. There were no pullbacks into the zone. ETH just ran. So consider that when you're looking at the charts. Let's look at a couple of the others. Atom, not much to mention over there. DOT, no. Even Cardano is getting a move, right? So there it is. Even Cardano is getting a move. Casper, all right. Still possible that Casper hits this low region, but I think given what the rest of the market is doing, if you are looking to establish a Casper position, at least DCA in, right? So you have some exposure. Personally, I have enough exposure. If we hit this low level, I'll allocate more. Otherwise, I have enough exposure. You have near, look at that. A lot of liquidity that's been built up over here. There'll be a lot of stop losses over here, and you are starting to break that right now. So don't be surprised if you see near put in an ETH-like move where you get these big, big pumps towards the upside. That's near. Let's move on. How's AVAX doing? Okay, still choppy. Not much going on over there. We said if you get any pullback into the fair value gap, that creates an opportunity. I mean, you could almost argue maybe that was already it, the candle that occurred on Friday, the 8th of November. But I do think this is one to watch, right? Probably going to create some sort of an ascending triangle, high highs, high lows. And then eventually, when you can break above this major resistance at 58 cents, it should be off to the races. Solana, look at that. Really, really, really powerful. So keep an eye on Solana. You know, would I suggest that anyone that has no Solana right here, right now, buys it? No, probably not. I would rather wait for a move up, even if it spikes really high, like 235. You should get some sort of a pullback at some stage into that range high breakout area where you previously had deviations of the top side. You'll then be looking for a deviation like that. That should get prices higher. But either way, we already predetermined the measure move target on this, and that's coming up to $292 on Solana, right? That's the measured move that we're looking for. Aptos, okay, still continuing on upwards. Again, similar to Solana, you want to break up, hold above this region, any pullback that comes into that zone, then you're flipping the prior resistance. You can see resistance into support, right? You can see it was resistance over here as well. You're flipping that into support to 1070, and then you're looking for higher prices. SUI, all right, also outline the fair value gap. You know, when the market starts to move quickly, it's really difficult to pinpoint whether it is actually going to go into those fair value gaps or not. So that's why it's always better to have listened earlier and had your exposure much, much earlier in the cycle. But if you do get a move down into this $2 region, that's your fair value gap. That's where you're looking to buy, and that's where you expect prices to push onwards and upwards. Okay, let's see quickly Injective. Injective fair value gap still remains untagged. That's at 19.20 zone, right? $19.20. Okay, let's see anything in the layer twos. If ETH moves, will the layer twos move? That's the question, right? Still pretty flat, right? Not much going on over there on Optimism. Arbitrum, also not much going on over there. Stacks is layer 2 for Bitcoin. Still not much going on over there, to be honest with you. Metis is probably one of the better looking ones of the lot because it just came out of a falling wedge. You're putting in high lows over here, but really not too great when it comes to the layer 2s. Okay, if you look at Mantra, Mantra, I would be more interested to pick some up if it put in a proper correction and came down to the golden pocket, which still remains unfilled. That's $1.12. So that is for Mantra. Let's see Axelar. Okay, Axelar still respecting the parallel channel over there. Orders would have already been filled earlier. We spoke about this for a long time. No trade on that one at the moment. Seapool. Okay, Seapool's been trending up, looking really, really good. You know, this could be one that moves similar to what Mantra has. So keep an eye out on this as this pushes up. If you do start to break above 28 cents, hold above that region, you have a measured move that can take you up to about 45 cents on this. So from current levels, this still gives you the possibility of, how far is this? Percentage-wise, you're looking at about an 89% move over there. All right, let's see. Anything else noteworthy to look at over here? Let's check out the AI sector. So AI is still interesting, still important, I think, for the cycle. I think, some of the best sectors to be dabbling in is going to be layer one, just to give you stability within your portfolio. And then things like Solana, Aptos, NEAR. We've discussed all the various different layer ones. Then you can look to AI. We'll talk about some of the good AI ones now. Some of the real assets like Mantra, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓, and then you want to go into, of course, the meme coins. That's currently the way my portfolio is structured. So if we look at AITECH, still holding up over here, we never tag this lower region. There's no guarantee that you're going to come back down here, but this is a screaming buy if you do manage to drop down into this 160, 170 zone. Otherwise, I would expect this to break out like the rest of the market. Okay, let's have a look at Aether. So Aether deviating back into the trading range. If you can confirm this is a deviation and hold up at this zone over here, you're looking for a possible move to 0.068 mid-range, and then after that 0.08. All right, how's Octa doing? Okay, not too great. It's broken trend, come back down into the zone. So it will take a little bit of time. Let's look at GRT. Also recently broke this downtrend over here, but very, very sloppy chart. So I'd probably move on. XAI, absolutely terrible. EOS, one of the calls that we gave all the way down here, we were establishing positions at these lows. If you took that trade with us, you're up 46%. And the real move begins if you can break this downsloping trend line for EOS. All right. Okay, AITECH, definitely an interesting one. Came off a long-term downtrend, hit that slowdown phase, came in perfectly into the, key support region from the order block that led to the move up. This is where we were initially establishing positions. Since then, it has been putting in major higher lows. You can see even these price action, this is still higher than there. So putting in high lows, still waiting for this one to move. I think the market will eventually catch on. Fundamentally, they pretty rock solid. They hold the majority, they hold actual data centers for AI tech or AI technology at least. So they're going to be at least renting out the GPU power to all of the other sectors. So I view AI tech as kind of one of the picks and shovels of the AI space if you are looking for opportunity up there. We know about Render and their partnerships with Apple in the previous cycle that was really hyped about. Chart-wise, it's still coming down, probably going through some sort of a reaccumulation. The absolute bottom golden zone that I'd be looking for an entry would be the yellow line. That's about 370, right? But probably you can view this as, for Render, macro accumulation. This one likely runs later on in the cycle. Okay, 𝗥, which is Artificial Super Intelligence Alliance. We established some positions down here at the lows. And then again, on the high low, you came back towards that zone, similar to Render. I think reaccumulation. So the whole AI sector is probably going through some reaccumulation. Okay, 𝗤, back to mid-range over here. Found some support. Look, it's going to take a bit of time now for this one, but you want to see it defend and hold above the yellow line. That's 461. All right, what else, guys? I see there is Arweave. Let's have a look at Arweave. How's Arweave doing? Let's see. All right, maybe that was it. Maybe that was it for Arweave. So also, similar price action to a lot of the coins. Falling wedge formation, hits that into the bottom, comes into key support. Buyers fill their pockets over here. Price breaks out, leaves the top side of the falling wedge formation, the upper trend or this trend line that's downtrending, but the upper boundary over here, you break and hold above that. Probably a decent zone. When this one cooks, it absolutely cooks. Target levels that you're looking at on Arweave, probably a move up to about 34 to 35 is going to be a major TP zone. Next major TP zone is going to be at about 46. Go watch the show that I did on Thursday. Go watch the show on Friday. I spoke about how a lot of the coins within this cycle, just markets in general, the cycle of putting these huge cup and handle formations. And it all starts with a falling wedge, right? Starts with a falling wedge. You tend to break this, come down, chop about a little bit. And, it's never meant to be easy to spot these cup and handle formations. But usually when you look at it on a line chart, it will look something like this, right? You end up having this rounded bottom. You then put in the handle and then price rips towards the upside. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that in Arweave, which means you're basically buying near the bottom of the neckline, right? So if this does play out like a lot of the other coins, that's going to be the bottom of the cup, which is where you measure to the top of the neckline. So you're buying at the bottom of the cup, and then you measure to the top of the neckline like this. And then this is what typically gives you your measured moves. Now, this is extreme speculation, right? Extreme speculation, guys. But I mean, imagine that would take Arweave to like 85. So if you got in over here, these are pure hypotheticals. I know people love these fun and game hypotheticals. That's about a 360% if it plays out like that, right? Big if, big if. You can't trade off of that. All right, what else? What else do we have, guys? Drop them in the comment section. I am looking at the comments. I'm monitoring them. Also, please protect your capital. Before we go into the rest of the requests that we have over here, there's two very, very important things that you have to do right now today. If you haven't already done them, protect your capital, guys. It costs you next to nothing. You make life-changing gains, and you end up losing it all due to hacks. I should have pulled up that information. Someone contacted us. They're getting so sophisticated. They're even using facial recognition technology. They're using AI to use my voice. I'll never DM you guys. I'll never, ever, ever DM you. I don't have a secret trading fund. Please mark my words. I'll never take your capital. No trader will do that for you. No one's going to trade for you. It's too risky for us. Also, I don't even think it's legal. You have to be a registered financial investor or trader to be able to do that for people. Please be very, very careful out there. The other two important steps that you can take to protect your capital is you can get yourself, firstly, a VPN. All the specials are currently on right now for all of these things because it's Black Friday. If you go to the link below, there should be one. I think we have one. There it is, NordVPN. You're getting 62% off of a 2-year plan. So please do take the deal. Guys, it works out per month. It's less than what you'd pay for a coffee in most countries, right? $3.37. If you go to dodgy sites, it will flag it, right? It will immediately pop up and it will say, this is sketchy. Don't go on this site. Phishing alert says things like that. They use phishing attacks to target you. Once they discover that you're a crypto person, if they don't get you through the phishing attack, they know where your IP address is, right? So you can change your IP address using this. So it shows you in another location. And if they have your IP address, well, at least you can protect yourself through a ledger, right? This is a hardware device. That's the one that I have. I have a lot of these. Use the link in the description below. I think they're giving you a sign-up bonus over here where they're giving you Bitcoin on the ledger. So you can choose the various different colors. This is probably the most important. Out of anything, this is the most important thing because this is the point of finality, right? If somebody wants to hack me, I would have to actually manually approve the transaction. So I can read the transaction on here and I can see this doesn't look right. And I can just say no. If I manually approve it, of course, I'm going to lose all my crypto. Very, very, very important. Don't lose all your crypto due to hacks. They're going to pick up massively now, right, in this part of the cycle. Okay, what else? Let's go more into the coins. Let's have a look at the meme coins. I see there's a lot of requests over here for the meme coins. So let's dive into a couple of those. Let's quickly go through. So MAGA, of course, guys, it's over. Make America Great Again. This was all a presidential campaign. Moving into that, buy the rumor, sell the news. Done, right? Okay, Sundog, not looking too good, bruv. This one's coming down. New swing lows. So probably I would give that one a miss. I still have hope that you might see a bit of a move over here on Billy. I am scaling in. I'm considering this the range low. What's the play? It's a dog that's going to a Billy, right? 1 Billy market cap. Billy, that's why they called it that. Pretty simple. Let's have a look at Turbo. Turbo's looking really good, breaking above the top side of the trading range. I mean, this is almost, you could argue, one that you could start to look for a trade on even now. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Is there any opportunity over here? I mean, this is one that you could almost argue. You could probably go for a trade on this. If you're looking for long, you could probably put hard stops over here, 0.008011. If you're going on spot, of course, spot stops would be below these swing lows. But I think this one's probably going to turn. Turbo looking good for continuation. Okay, what others do we have? Shiba Inu starting to pick up a retail coin of the last cycle. I think there'll be new retail coins this cycle. Book of Memes, Falling wedge, breaking out of that, starting to try and reclaim the key horizontal. 𝗥𝗢𝗓𝗓, one of our top blue chip picks. I labeled that one all the way down here as adding it to my blue chip list. So it's one of my bigger positions in my portfolio. Looking really, really good. I'm looking for higher prices on that. Slurf, not much to mention over there. Naira, not too great. 𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗘, Chinese 𝗕𝗢𝗕 coin. Well, we saw that China starting to get involved again, right? Maybe they're going to unban crypto again. When they do that, I think this is one of the coins that you can watch, is 𝗕𝗢𝗕 coming into the range low over there. 𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗓𝗏, typically been a really, really strong one. If you're long on this, probably continue to hold it. It's looking good. This is going to be your major high low. I would invalidate under that 50% level, which was also the swing low that comes in 0.0077. That's the area. Okay, 𝗕𝗢𝗕. 𝗕𝗢𝗕 looks decent, right? Reaccumulation. Higher lows over here. You yet to put in the high highs, but you got high lows, so that's looking good. MOG, one of my bigger meme coin positions as well. You got this expanding megaphone pattern in play. I would definitely be a strong profit taker towards the top over here, but these are cycle long plays that I'm looking to hold. Okay, you got TON putting in a bit of a move, which means you're getting resistance dog. Also putting in a bit of a move. This is looking good, right? So we have a bit more information over here. You're officially deviating back into the trend. There's still a little bit more work that needs to be done over here, but this is your deviation back into the trend on resistance dog. This is a leverage bet on TON, the Telegram coin. I also have resistance cat, right? Resistance cat is also part of the list. If you do want to check that one out, Rika and Rido. Okay, Giga is still looking good. I'm continuing to hold. We established our positions in the yellow box down here. So no changes over there on that. Let's hold that. When, let's pass. Not much going on over there. I have a very small position on when. Floki. Okay, range lows, probably reaccumulation over here. Foxy, we spoke about Foxy. You know, high lows over here. This is your exposure to linear. So if you want to have a look at Foxy for exposure to linear, this would be it. Breaking the downsloping trend line. Now you're looking for a move into the mid-range, 0.010. If it can hold above that, target towards the range high, 0.015. So it's the only way you can get exposure to linear chain is by buying Foxy. Okay, Grok. This was the trade that Chris took the long. Absolutely beautiful. That's why I think he's probably going to be taking profit somewhere around here. If it gets above that zone, range high, 0.013. All right, Brett. We are reaccumulated at the range lows. We're looking for a move up towards the range highs. You know, hopefully we pretty much bought near the bottom. And then if you can break above this 18 cents region, you know, it's off to the races. Because it's been a long-term range, you can actually work out a measured move on this, which would be based on the rectangle. Let's paste that on the top. That is 28 cents. So from the range lows to the high, 264% move. Very, very, very decent over there. Okay, let's go to WIF. Maybe let's not miss 𝗔𝗦𝗓𝗕𝗓. 𝗔𝗦𝗓 breaking out of the falling wedge. You know, longs anyway into this region look decent for spot bags, right? Spot bags targets go up to 0.032, and then after that, 0.04. Okay, WIF. Also putting in high lows, but a little bit of a sloppy chart, so I don't have too much commentary on this. You did break the long-term downtrend. It's probably also going through reaccumulation. You know, you can see over here that S phase, right? You're probably expecting something like that and continuation higher. So everything is looking good, guys. Ponky sitting at the range highs there, not too bad. We have Myro still hanging around the lows. We're also putting in high lows following the break of the downsloping trend line. Really not looking too bad. They're either Bonk. Bonk is chopping all about. No commentary on Bonk. Doge is still strong. Very, very, very strong, right? Very, very powerful. We identified over here coming into the golden pocket, ripping towards the top side. This is probably what you can see again, the falling wedge. This is what I spoke about, guys, right? Remember, the falling wedge, which then forms into a cup and handle, right? You tend to see something like this. There's your cup, form the handle, pull back, and then continuation, right? So probably this is where a lot of the coins are. Like I just showed you Myro, right? Myro, probable cup and handle, right? You're probably going to see the same type of pattern play out like on a lot of these coins. Doge leading that meme coin sector over there. Okay, Omnom, which is dog eat dog. Also, look at the cup and handle formation that could potentially form. Higher lows forming throughout over here. Wojak. Let's move on. Popcat, still looking strong, still holding up. Apu, also still looking strong. We showcased how this was a key area coming into the 50% level, wicked into that, held it absolutely perfect, pushed up into new local highs. So high highs and high lows is the name of the game, looking very, very decent. Moo the bull. So also straight up, right? High highs and high lows, looking really, really decent over there. Is there any other ones that we need to bring up for today? I'll remind you that if you do go into Whale Room, there is a section over here, where you can ask the team. So there it is, ask the team. Click on that over there. If you have any questions for us, please come through over here. Ask the team in the Whale Room Discord. If you're not in the Whale Room Discord, then the link is below. There is a 3-month package as well now for those of you that do want to join. So that's it from me, folks. Thank you so much for joining. I will catch all of you on the next one. A major congratulations to all of you who have stuck through the tough times. Well done. We're all going to make it, right? I'll see you on the next one, and cheers for now.